there are a lot of consumer apps right now around pregnancy and getting pregnant. There's one app called Glow that is really popular in San Francisco. You probably know what it is, but Glow, you input all of your sort of information. It's an app to help you get pregnant. You input all your information, including like really detailed stuff like your mucus levels and things. I don't know. And then the founder is so confident that this app will get women pregnant that he'll pay for your IVF if it doesn't work. How like effective are these sort of consumer apps, and where do these fit in with your kind of work and kind of with all of you guys? How much do consumer apps that we hear about fit in?
I personally am a fan, because I think anything that puts anything that empowers women and puts their healthcare back into their own hands is important.
Yeah.
There are a few issues from a regulatory perspective with apps, whether they're actually medical devices or not. There's a fine line, and some cross that line, I think, and do tread into areas where they are actually acting as medical devices. And in that case, they need to go through the full competent authority review, and many don't. And I would personally be very suspicious of an app that promises you to get pregnant. I don't think a mobile phone's actually capable of delivering that yet. But in general, I'm hugely supportive, because I think it does put power back into mums, into women.
Yeah. Do you use are you using apps in your work with the women?
Well,
or like encouraging them to?
So when we talk about social media, we ask all the mums what apps they use, and so there's always Facebook. Most of them aren't on Twitter, so we get them on Twitter.
Yeah.
And just the regular apps that we all use, I think they're quite popular. But what I really love is that we get mums to design their own apps. And if you think about it, most apps that we've got are mainly created by sort of like middle-class white males, and so we're working with women who are like 40 with maybe 10 kids who run a market stall in the East End of London and live in a very deprived area. So getting them thinking about what apps they can create for themselves is just mind-blowing. They come up with really, really cool ideas. And some of the ideas they have, we then find out that someone's already made $1 million, like creating that app already. And some of them, we work with the schools, and so some schools we're working to produce the ideas that the mums are coming up with. So it's like there's just such potential for apps for people who aren't white middle class men. It's just a massive area.
Yeah. Where are some of the big gaps that you see? The gaps in knowledge between the moms and the rest of the population? Where are some of the big sort of areas that need work now?
I don't know. So because the thing is, everyone's interested in different things.
Yeah.
So the thing that I find really interesting is the fact that these women put themselves forward to come along and do tech mums, but most of them are ridiculously scared. So they're really forcing themselves outside their comfort zones. And I think because of the way that tech is portrayed in the media, I mean, it is getting better, but a lot of it is very negative. And I think that if you don't have access to all of that information, we kind of take it for granted. We've used the internet for 10, 15, however long, I can't remember, it's been around. But for a very long time, we're used to being able to find out information straight away. If you don't have a computer, you don't use the internet, you've got friends around you that don't do that very much either. That there's so much information which we completely take for granted that some of our mums just don't know about at all.
Yeah. And there is that idea, like you said, about the sort of young white male founders in San Francisco, which I've been reporting on a ton, and which is
it's
both
not
a
just
stereotype.
San Francisco,
yeah, not just in San Francisco. And it's of course, it's a stereotype, and it's also kind of accurate. Like it's a real thing. And I don't know, like I made a joke when we were backstage.
You're going to share it.
Yeah, well, I was like trying to figure out what to do for the intros, and I was like, oh God, I don't know how to do intros. And I was saying like, well, why don't I'll introduce you and I'll say like, oh, she's teaching moms how to use technology. Like, Lord knows, like that's hard. I've tried to teach my mom how to use technology, which is the problem.
I was like, don't say that.
Which is
That's exactly what we're trying to stop.
Talk about that. Like, tell me what you were saying, because
there's a phrase which so many people use, especially in tech, which is, it's so easy, your mum can do it, about lots of different things. And to me, that's disgusting. I hate that. It really, really makes me angry. Thank you. Because, mums are just as smart as everyone else. Why does it have to be so easy your mum can do it? So straight away, you're putting your mum right over there. She doesn't know anything. She's stupid, and that's wrong. And I hate it. And I'm so glad that you told me you were going to say that, because it wouldn't have been a good thing to introduce me.
No, it would have been terrible. Would have been a very awkward intro.
What literacy meant in the 70s and what literacy now means in the technology world are two different things. What is it that we want people to be able to do? And can we do it without the reading of a literature book, for example? One of my star trainers in the outskirts of Nairobi, she's a Kikuyu woman. She trains a whole lot of Maasai women, so there's already a change of language. What she says is because she's dealing with Maasai women, she's already learned the language, and what she says is she actually trains them in Maasai to say, click this, click that. But here's what she says, I still call a mouse, and a windows, windows. Because if these women were to go in the rest of the world, they need to know the common terminology. So we're trying to overcome some of these basic challenges of literacy through technology.